What's going on? This is Deke back with part 3 of our Wonderkid installment. Basically, I'm looking for cheaper Wonderkids that I want to invest in Sorare and get in a nice cheap entry point, or if they're more expensive, just guys that will have some value down the line. So, if you're unsure with the other two, I've done goalkeepers, I've done defenders, and the center, and now I'm getting into your left backs and right backs. So, without further ado, I'm going to have 5 guys that I already bought, as you can see, and I'm going to give you some honorable mention as well. But these are 5 guys that I really like in terms of cheap and guys that are going to make a return on your value. So let's start off with Miguel Gutierrez first. So he's at Real, and the current situation is he had 4 starts at the beginning of the year as a 20-year-old. And that's all he pretty much did with Real. And then he got turned into Castilla, the reserve squad, and he had 2 goals and 8 assists in 16 appearances. So this is a guy that, in rumors, things like that, he's going to be leaving Real Madrid to go out on loan, and he has some interest. So I think he has a lot of upside in moving away from Real in terms of loan. And this is a very cheap, I think this is the most expensive out of my group, but 0.022 ETH is an entry that, it's not too bad on a guy that could play under 23. So the interest is from Betis, Sociedad, and Villarreal. Could he be a starter there? I really think he could break into the team and be a starter at the squads and be in a pretty good spot. Could he be a rotational player? Yes, he could. So let's see here. I bought at 0.024, so it's slightly above your current price. So this would be a good entry, honestly. 22 euros for those. They use euros. I mean, that's cheap. You could go up to his rare. I don't own a rare, but that's my first guy. I think he has the upside to kind of pay off on that price. But I have some even cheaper guys that I like as well. Okay, the next guy. So this is actually going to be the most expensive. So Gonzalo Esteves at Sporting. So he is going on loan to Estoril, same league. And I really think he becomes a starter there and impresses. So he had 2 starts and 3 subs last year, and he has some huge upside. If we take a look at some scores from last year, he only played a little bit. In his starts, 54.5, kind of a stinker against Ajax. But I really think this guy, you want center backs, but if you're trying to kind of get some other players involved as term with left backs and right backs, he's a good guy. I really think he gets first team experience, and that will raise his value. It is a little bit steep in terms of the current production, what you're paying. But again, this is another guy that, I just bought before recording this video. Slightly above what he is going for. I don't know if I refresh this or I did buy the rookie card. I don't know. I like what the rookie card looks like in terms of that. But you can kind of see what he's going for. It's right in that vicinity. Number 3, really like this guy, Manu Sanchez. And now we're really getting into our dumpster dive and bargain bin. So he is at Atletico. Atletico loves him. He was at Osasuna on loan last year. But Atletico has expanded his deal. It's not on Sorare yet, but through 2027. So they do like what he's doing. But he's most likely going to go out on loan again. Last year, he had 25 starts, 8 subs at Osasuna. Some low games, but this is a really cheap entry. As you can see here, what the 3-day average is, what it is right here. I just bought before recording this video. Today is July 2nd. So I kind of did set the market a little bit higher. I did pay what the going floor is. But I think this is a guy that, he could 2x your value if you can get into a decent situation, start some games. He is turning 22, so I think that is a prime age for him to kind of get rolling. He is linked to loans as of recording with Nottingham Forest, who've just been promoted up to the EPL, and Brighton. So he has EPL chances. Will he have super upside there? maybe not in those squads, but I think if he becomes a regular starter, he can be a guy that you can plug in and he can get you some decent scores, especially if you need some rotation in your under 23 squads. He is eligible for that as well. So that's my number 3 and a guy that I've already invested in. Number 4, another lone guy, Matthew Sorinola. So Sorinola has been loaned to Swansea for the year. So championship football, that might not be the best for his upside. But, so he's come from Union SG in Belgium. Here is my thinking on this. He is considered a wonder kid. If you play FM Football Manager, he was a wonder kid in there, has some upside. But I do believe he is a wonder kid. At 21 years old, I think he has some upside, especially, €5 for his going rate. You can't really buy that. Beat that, sorry. So, I bought in before recording this video. Again, I bought the floor. Here's my thinking on this. So, he is going to Swansea, and his head coach was his head coach at MK Dons last year before he went to Union SG. So, my thinking is he is already familiar with the system. He's already familiar with the coach. They obviously want him, and I think he can really play a decent amount of games and put up some nice scores. So, last time he was at MK Dons, he made 46 appearances on the season. So, this is kind of the output that I'm looking at. The reasoning behind, I was kind of watching. So, if you take a look here, this is when the Swansea news was kind of came out. You can see they're trickling down at this part. Yes, it could keep going down from where I bought, but I am very comfortable in, we're talking about nothing as an entry. If you are a budget player, this would be a guy that, I would pick up as an option. He has the upside to, again, if you're trying to flip players, none of this is financial advice, but kind of my thinking. I think this is a guy that you can definitely flip, and he's my number 4 guy that I currently bought. My last one comes out of Sturm Graz in the Austrian Bundesliga. I'm going to do Dante. So, another bargain bin as far as his limited, and a guy that I just bought before recording. So, another guy here. As you can see his price. Here's my thinking on him. So, MLS transfer target that he turned down over the last week or so. He was linked with, I believe, Red Bulls. It wasn't really released, but it seemed like it was a Red Bulls, New York Red Bulls kind of link. I really think that him saying that he's staying there, at least for this year, is huge for his card. So if you look at last season, he had 38 starts, and he hit 50 plus 9 times. That's not a ton of times out of those 38, but he's playing it week in, week out. So if you have a challenger team that you need somebody to start as a guy that you look at his averages, 42 over the last 40. He's going to get your 40. Does he have the upside? Let's take a look at some of his upsides. Yeah, so he does have the opportunity for that upside game. 87, 75, 65, 71, 74. So it is there. If we just have starts, he does have the stinkers. His 3. Yikes. But as at Salzburg, he has stinkers. But I think as his second year as like the key starter guy, I really think he is going to improve. And then he does have a little bit, if you take a look here, of other eligibility. Does he? Maybe not. But he does play for Mali. I don't think they had anything recent. He didn't start. That's what it was. Let's bring this back in. So yeah, if he can break into that team, he was on the bench for these. It gives you some added bonus in terms of down the road. Okay, so those are the 5 guys that I already bought. I'm interested in. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 4 extra. Just spend like a second on these guys. 4 extras. Luca Netz from Gladbach, guy that if you take a look at his chart, it hasn't really moved much at all. His price range, not bad. He had 17 starts. He was the first choice left back at Gladbach over the end of the year. So that's very interesting. He just turned 18 in May. So he's young. He has some upside. Guy that I'm watching, but I'm not pulling the trigger on yet. Next guy that broke into Monaco's side last year with 35 starts at right back and right attack mid. Vanderson. So he has been very good last year, coming over from Gremio. If you take a look at his chart here, so these upside games out here, these are these Gremios. So you could probably see those, as you can see here. What we got here, this is whenever he was with Monaco. He had 4 of those nice greens. He did have some lower scores, like the 7 stinker, 10 stinker. But this is his first introduction into Monaco's lineup, and he impressed, as a guy that just turned 20 years old. So he was a 19-year-old last season. He's impressed. I think he's going to be even better this year. You're looking at 0.052. Another guy that I'm kind of waiting to pull the trigger. If his price goes down a little bit more, maybe I pull the trigger on that. Maybe I don't. We'll see on him. Next one, Sergio Gomez. So I am not buying him. I just want to bring him up as a guy that he's a wonder kid. But, there's too many things that I don't know. And with his price being his floor 0.107, I can't pull that. If he stayed at Anderlecht, that'd be one thing. He's a stud last year. Last 40 is 57. Last 560. Great stats. But here's the problem. He's linked to Milan, Barcelona, Aston Villa. If he moves to one of those teams, he's not going to put up those same points as someone that has a significant role in Anderlecht's team. He is kind of a huge story as he came from Dortmund last summer for only 2.25 mil as a nice bargain deal for Anderlecht, and I'm sure whatever he's going to go for, it's probably going to be like 10 million. So that's a nice flip if he does move on. If he stays, this could be a guy that is a stud that you can play in Challenger. And again, I'm just going to stay away and not financial advice, but that's what I'm currently doing. Then our last right back / left back that we're talking about, Jeremy Frimpong from Leverkusen. So first choice right back, started 31 games before getting hurt at the end of last season. He had a mix of high and low scores, so his price is 0.052 as his floor. But you can kind of see here, before the injury, he had some low games. Let's just filter out starts only. He did have some low games, 0. 0 points in 90 minutes. That's not what you're looking for. But he did have some upside games. So this is a guy that he is not consistent whatsoever, but he can put up those big scores. I'm not getting into him just because he had some, rumors that he was interested by Real, Dortmund, Bayern before the injury. So he does have to heal up. I'm not sure if he is. They do have the check mark here, but I'm not sure if he is full strength yet. But another guy I'm watching. So those 4 guys I'm watching. If something changes with those, maybe guys that I'll get into. Basically, what I wanted to do is invest in some guys that have some upside, have some room for growth, have some kind of, if I'm trying to flip these guys in maybe a year, at the end of the year, what am I looking at? Do you think their value is bigger, more expensive? What am I thinking? So, just as a kind of reminder of my top 5, I have Miguel Gutierrez from Real Madrid. I have Gonzalo Esteves on loan at Estoril for Sporting. Manu Sanchez for Atletico has some loan opportunities maybe for Brighton. Matthew Sorinola, he plays for Union SG but is on loan at Swansea. And Amadou Dante, Sturm Graz, he is staying there. So those are my 5. Hope you guys are liking this series. Next up, either going to start with defensive mids or center mids and give you some value guys moving forward. So again, go back and watch the goalkeeper, center backs, and this is the 3rd installment. I'll be hopefully getting all of these out. I'm trying to do like 1 or 2 a week at least, maybe 1 a day, until we get ready and get rolling for the start of European football. I feel like this break has been too long, but it really hasn't been that long. You know, MLS is great. Some of these other leagues are great, but it's nothing like European football. So, if you like this video, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Maybe like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any guys that you're interested in, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.